get off early and I go to the store and I get some food, and I was gonna make a sandwich and do all this stuff. Take the dog for a walk, and I was gonna do my paperwork for work and upload that. So Genghis is pulling me. I go back to the car to get some poop bags and put them back because there were poop bags in the park already. So I was putting them back, and I locked my keys in the car. So I call AAA. I'm waiting for like an hour. We go for a little walk, come back, and I go sit down. I'm sitting in the sun. It's getting hot. I'm getting thirsty. My stuff's in the car. So I call AAA again, and I'm sitting there on the phone with AAA on hold. And then this guy pulls up, and so Genghis, I always have him tied to this thing in the car right there. I have him tied to this thing, so if he does jump out, he can't run anywhere very far. And it's pretty long, so if I'm, like right now, I always park next to grass and let him go out there, but I shorten it to like keep him close to the car, so it's not as long as it can go unless I'm like in an area where there's nobody around. So, but there was nobody there when I got there, so it was a little bit longer, but I still have it wrapped around there, and I still had it wrapped around here. So I have it wrapped around here like a whole bunch of times. And then that one I just did right now, because there was other people around, and I didn't want him to be, you know, able to walk over to anybody. So these people walking their dogs and stuff, and I keep making sure. So like this one dog, little dog started running over, and I go and I ran, and I had hold of Genghis, and they called the dog went off, no big deal. Other people walk their dogs, and I kind of like tell him, you know, I mean, it's pretty much they know not to bring their dogs over towards Genghis. I mean, it's like obvious. He's, you know, I'm worried about it. So this other guy pulls up, jumps out, and he's like, "You stay there." And he was like talking to my dog or something. And his dog jumps out of the back of the car, runs over to Genghis, and Genghis, you know, attacks him. You know, he's running over Genghis. Genghis is like all over it. So they get in a dog fight, and the guy breaks it up. I mean, I dropped the stuff there. They're like, "Hi, AAA," and everything, and they're talking to me, and I just like screamed, ran over there, dropped everything. And the guy, but I'm like, I'm not getting in the middle of a dog fight, you know. You're gonna get bit, which he did. He got bit, you know. And then he's all pissed. Well, I'm like, "You okay?" "Well, no, I'm not okay. I got bit by your dog." And I'm like, "Well, you know, you look okay." I mean, he went and took his dog for a walk after that, first of all. Then he went and, you know, we exchanged numbers. He's taking pictures of my license plate and everything. And I'm like, "Well, your dog was not on a leash." And he goes, "Oh, well, I see where this is going." And I was like, "Yeah, your dog was not on a leash, okay? My dog is always on a leash, just for that reason, so he doesn't jump out of the car and run off." I go, "I've got him. That's why he's tied to the car, because I'm locked out, but he still cannot run off, you know." And because I had been sitting over there in the sun, because I've been there all day, you know, like I've been there for like a couple hours at this point. And then, you know, I'd see everybody come and gone, and, you know, nobody was there when I first got there, nobody. But then it started getting later, and people started coming and walking their dogs and stuff. And then I leave, okay? After the AAA comes, I leave. And, you know, I mean, he's taking pictures of my license plate, for God's sake. Then I was like, I gave him the name of my vet, gave him my phone number, all that. Because he's like, "Well, did he have his shots?" I go, "Well, of course he has his shots." She goes, "No, not of course." And I was like, "Yeah, of course he has his shots." You know, like, I'm sorry. Like, you don't, yeah. So, he goes, "Well, I don't know what a 5-month-old." I go, "He's not 5 months, he's a year and 5 months." He goes, "Oh, now it's a year and 5 months." I go, "Yeah, that's what I said the first time." Of course, he wasn't listening, you know. And then he was like, "Funny fact, you don't get locked out of a Mercedes." I was like, "Yeah, well, that must be nice." Whatever, what a jerk. So then I was like, and his name is Genghis." "Oh, yeah, that's perfect. Just like the terror, like the tyrant," or whatever he called him. And I said, I said, oh no, I said, well, he's Asian. And I said, no, you mean the conqueror, I said. And he's not as bad as everybody thinks he is. And he's like, oh yeah, sure. And I'm like, okay, first of all, don't even get me started on Genghis Khan. Anyway, so I leave, and then I get a call, and it's like, hi, Jennifer. And I was like, hi. And he's like, this is Ranger so-and-so or whatever. And he was like, I go, oh, hi. And he goes, well, why'd you leave? And I said, well, we exchanged numbers. He has my number. He has my vet's number. You know, my dog was on a leash, you know, so I left. And I go, I mean, my dog was on a leash. And the ranger said, well, yeah, that's what I said. He goes, that's kind of what I told him. And he said, I mean, I see it all the time, you know, that you should have your dog tied in the car exactly like I do. And he said, so because the dog jumps out, it happens all the time. And I said, yeah, well, my dog was on a leash. I was locked out of the car. He was tied to the car. You know, I was like, and the dog ran over, and they got in a fight, and the guy got bit. And he was like, and I go, but it's not my fault. And I go, it's not my fault. He goes, yeah, well, that's kind of what I told him. And he goes, and honestly, I could have gave him a citation for not having his dog on a leash. But, you know, he had a nice little bite on his leg. And I was like, okay, well, you have my number. If you need me for anything else, you know, call me. I mean, because I actually just told him the whole story, and I said and my dog is on a leash 24/7 because we're in our car. I drive around from different states, and this is what I do for a job. And I call 911 all day, and I drive around to different places, you know. And my dog is on a leash 24/7. I've got him locked to the car, so if he ever jumps out, that won't happen. And he was like, yeah, I understand. Like, you know, I mean, I did the right thing. Like, I mean, I don't know what the guy was supposed to say. But anyway, that was an interesting story. So, interesting end of day. Thought I'd share.